we're showing here today is a product we call M.App X. And M.App X is an imagery analyst product. Its purpose is to provide image analysts with the tools to do their job. Now, an image analyst is a person who works in the defense and intelligence arena, and their job is to extract information from imagery. They have to view lots of imagery, they have to adjust the imagery, improve it, and then make reports, graphics, to provide information up to their decision makers. Now, image analysts have used tools for a long time called light tables, ELTs, and those run on workstations, traditional workstations. What we've done is created a version of this ELT technology that runs in a web browser using our server technologies in the back end. And what's good about this is that it relieves a lot of the administrative costs of managing expensive workstations. We can push it all back to the servers, we can manage the software in one place, and then we can have reduced cost workstations. And one of the side benefits is that as a user, the work goes with you. So I want to show you M.App X today. This is running in a web browser, a standard web browser, Chrome or Firefox, a standard piece of hardware. I can use it on a PC, I can use it on a Mac, I can use it on a tablet, another benefit. And wherever I go, my work follows me around. So this interface is designed for giving you maximum real estate to look at your imagery, because the image is what's important. On the right-hand side, we have a thing we call the shoebox, which manages our data. So as an image analyst, I have a particular set of images that I have to look at and work on. So let me display, in fact, the same image again. Usually they display fit to frame. I can zoom, I can pan, I can go to particular zoom levels. Now, keep in mind, all of this data is being streamed from the Amazon cloud or from a cloud infrastructure. It's not local to this system. And you get very fast performance with this. Now, as an image analyst, another one of the things I might need to do is adjust my imagery. I might need to change the brightness or contrast or other aspects of the imagery. This is all happening on our server and being served from the server to the client. That's another one of the unique things we do, is this image adjustment on the fly. Also, as an image analyst, one of the things I do is I exploit imagery that's different than most people may be familiar with. I'm going to show you something to give you an example of this. The imagery I'm going to show you is from Southeast China. So I'm going to display this image. And one of the things you're going to notice is that everything seems kind of tilted. And that's because the sensor that was taking this imagery was taking it off nadir, looking to the side. But the fact that it's looking to the side and the position of the sensor is all encompassed in what's called a sensor model. The sensor model is a piece of complex, rigorous mathematics that tells me how to compute a ground point from a pixel in the image. Another thing I can do with that sensor model, besides just compute the ground point, is I can compute the correction necessary to put those buildings upright. So now that the building is upright, it looks more conventional to me. I can interpret it better. But another thing I can do using a sensor model is I can make measurements. I can click on the bottom of this building and go to the top on this edge, and you'll see over here that I get a height, about 20 meters, about a 60-foot high building. I can't do that with just a plain photograph or a plain image. Another thing the system does is that it is able to compute, I told you, compute the adjustments on the fly, but we use what's called an image chain. So I've got these image adjustment tools. I can adjust brightness and contrast. I can actually deal with things like the histogram of the image to manually control these things, or I can set it on auto. And what's going to happen is, as I move around, it's going to recompute all these adjustments for the area I'm looking at and apply them to the image. So you should see the image adjustment change as I move around. So now an image analyst's primary job is to detect features and to annotate them. So let me bring up another image to help illustrate this. Here's an image. It's an image of an airport in Madrid, Spain. And we're going to zoom into the tower area up here. Once again, I want to get the tower leaning up. Leaning down is a little bit disconcerting. And once I've done that, what I might need to do is start labeling things. It might be that I want to call attention for some reason to this area down here. So I could highlight it. I can just draw right on the image. After I highlight it, I might want to add a text label to it. So now I could say something like needs investigation. So let's add that here. We might want to move that a bit or resize it. So we can do that. Now another thing I can do is some automatic labeling. So I might want to label my airplanes and count them at the same time. So here we go. I can use this now, and I can click on the plane. You see that's A1, A2, A3, and A4. So I can use these tools to label the image like I'd like, and when I'm done doing that, I can then create a report. So these reports are pre-made templates. The users can create their own templates. They can change the titles. Aircraft report. I can also come here and actually make an adjustment if I need to, maybe change the angle a bit. You notice things like the north arrow, they adjust. And when I got it just like I want it, I could just print it, or I could export it to a PowerPoint. So once I create my PowerPoint, you'll see in a second that it appears. I could add further information to my PowerPoint, or I can just send it on up the chain to the people that need the information. Takes a few seconds. There, and there it is. There's my PowerPoint. And I've got this embedded. So analyzing and creating imagery is the main focus of this tool, but it's not the only focus. I can also do feature editing. So if I have, let's go back to this same area that I was looking at before, the one called La Paz, and display my image again, maybe zoom in some on it. I can add features to this. These features are coming from a standard WFS feature source. So these are features collected on this airport. I've got a set of feature editing tools here. I can select one or more features that I'm interested in. Let's pick them from the buildings. So I've got a selection of buildings, 69 of them. I can move through them one at a time. I can update their attributes and save those changes. So now on top of imagery, in a very rapid fashion, I can collect information into a database. And then lastly, we have an entire collection of geoprocessing operations that we can perform. These are built off what we call our spatial modeling engine. And each one of these follows a pattern of just collecting input from the user. I might, for example, wish to create an aspect map or an elevation map. And each one of these runs a process to produce a result. And lastly, let me show you some of the change detection tools in this package. So I've got two different images from El Paso, Texas, one from 2010, one from 2012. So let me display this image, and then I can come back and display one on top of it. This is from 2012, and I might be interested in locating change in this image. So I could come in and just maybe turn the top one on and off, look for where I see change. And if I want to focus in on an area then, I can use these swipe tools, and I can see what's happened. So you can see right here, down in this area, some kind of tanks, probably storage tanks, haven't been built, but actually they've been removed because the later date is on top. So it's change detection tools built into our product. So that pretty much covers
Great. I'm going to
M.App
go to
X.
the screen.
And now I need to go back and remember what I did, right?
Yeah, you can.
I know that I started with, let's go back to the, this image down here. right here. Okay, going to display his image. Okay, we can see that we've got the leaning buildings. We focused in on this one, I think, and we used our tool to go to up is up. And once we were there, we chose to do a measurement of this image. So we came down here, went to bottom, and then the top, and we got a height measurement here.
Let me get a shot of the meters thing. Okay, keep going.
Okay, and then I know that we did some annotation, so let's go back then to that same image, which is our image from Madrid, Spain, which is here. Display it as image. So we're going to zoom in to this area up here, and we're going to once again do that up is up rotation, and we're going to do some annotations. So I believe I came down here and picked this as a sort of a suspect area. And then I annotated it. This needs investigation. Add that to it. Maybe reposition this a bit. And then come back and let's do our airplane labeling. $SEQ. And now start labeling airplanes. F5, 6, maybe 7. Go. And then we want to create a report from this. So it comes into our template, we rearrange it a bit, maybe we change the angle, and then said, this is the airport, the aircraft. Report. So we can change the title, then we exit, export to PowerPoint. We're still just about there. So it's in our PowerPoint. And I think I'd like to close with one thing. Everything I've shown you is 2D, and analysts typically work just in 2D. But one of the things we're working on is now a 3D version of this. And I'll just give you a very brief preview of what you can do with 3D. We'll take that same data we looked at before, and we're going to display it. We automatically zoom to the area. It displays our data. I can choose to zoom in, pan around, and now you get a 3D live interactive view of the same data.